Did you know that one of my favorite games of all time is the original Luigis Mansion on Nintendo GameCube? I just love this game, and this speedrun is especially unique. It has incredibly cool kind of strategies, it has great movement, you have to combine all the ghosts together, but it also has cool glitches that combine all of this into a perfect speedrun package. So today, I'm going to be reacting to the brand new 100% task that was just released by NEVERDOORS, and this speedrun is amazing. So, I really hope you enjoy this video after a quick word from today's sponsor. I'm a speedrunner and I like to go fast, but if there's one thing that sucks is that fast in terms of food usually means fast food, which isn't that great for you, which I'm so happy to announce today's sponsor, Factor 75. Now, services like this have been an absolute life changer for me. I used to eat a bunch of fast food, which meant I gained a lot of weight, and it wasn't that great for me. Thankfully, I've been able to lose a lot of weight over these last few months, thanks to Factor 75, and it's super easy to use. All you gotta do is go into their website, you have over 35 options every single week, and there's a bunch of different categories like calorie smart, keto, vegetarian, you name it. And once you have that selected, the meals will just come straight to your door, you get these amazing packages, you put it in your microwave, and bam, fresh meals, and healthy, and it's incredible. And best of all, if you go to factor75.com and use my promo code Luigis50, you will get 50% off your first order. That's right, 50% off. That's 50% off food. Why not just try it? Please go to factor75.com and use my code Luigis50. The link is in the description of this video. Thank you so much, Factor75, for sponsoring this video. Alright, so this right here is a Luigis Mansion 100% tool-assisted speedrun. Now, if you don't know what a tool-assisted speedrun is, long story short, it is basically a perfect run. It is using save states, it is using RNG manipulation, slow-mo, and a bunch of stuff to create what would be a perfect run. You might be wondering, what is a 100% Luigis Mansion speedrun? Well, in a 100% Luigis Mansion, what you have to get is you have to get all portrait ghosts, which is basically like the family that's around the mansion. You have to get all 50 boosts that are hidden around the mansion, and you have to receive an A ring, which requires you to get $100 million throughout the game, which is why you're going to see him picking up a lot of money throughout this. So that's going to be bills, that's going to be gold bars, stuff like that. You're also going to notice that we're going to be incredibly fast here when it comes to actually sucking up these enemies. And that is for two reasons. Number one, if you look in the bottom right corner, you will see a little star. And that is because this is being played on basically the Game Plus, or Hidden Mansion as it's called, which increases your vacuum power by a little bit. The second thing is just that he's incredibly fast at doing this. So he's going to be using very, very optimal strats to get each one of these ghosts up as quickly as he can, by either tapping the analog stick in the opposite direction or by jiggling the C stick, or often a combination of both. You're also going to notice that he will occasionally, with these gold bars and with some of the pearls, do something weird where he kind of tries to get them above him and then he kind of flicks the vacuum, and that is actually a duplication glitch. So for gold bars and pearls in this game, you can duplicate them, and you're going to see a lot of that. I'm barely able to keep up right here. It's just so fast. But you can also see that he's like grouping these enemies together perfectly. So there's technically no limit for how many ghosts you can have active at the same time. However, for a human, if you have too many, they will often break off because it's really hard to, do the perfect analog stick directions when you have three opposite directions happening at the same time. But with a tool-assisted speedrun, since it can be perfect, he's going to manipulate as many enemies as he can to always get them in the exact same locations so that he's able to do it just perfectly. Once we've kind of gotten the easy introductions out of the way, I think the most important thing to mention about this task is that if you never played Luigis Mansion before, this game is broken up into 4 different sections: Area 1, 2, 3, and 4. And specifically for Area 1, it is basically like a tutorial, very basic, of teaching you the basics of the game. So we're going to be picking up money, we're going to get those ghosts, and now we just fought our first portrait ghost, that is the dad. And then after that, we're going to go to the left side of this corridor right here. We're going to start the next portrait ghost, which is the mom. We're then going to go down and activate the third portrait ghost, which is the Area 1 boss, which is Chauncey, the baby of the mom and dad. And we're basically just going to get dropped straight into the fight after that. And once we are in the Chauncey fight, this is where we are going to start seeing the run taking a crazy turn. So, first of all, the Chauncey fight itself is incredible. This is normally a kind of a difficult boss fight, but what the task can do is it can do an incredibly precise frame-perfect trick by releasing and pressing the vacuum over again on the same frame that Chauncey's supposed to kick him away, you can actually see that kind of effect happening. And if you do that, you can just get him in one cycle and just make the fight like 10 seconds long. But once that fight is done, this is when the run starts to get crazy. So you're going to see he's going to go behind this chest and then pop out of bounds. What? Yeah, so what you're seeing on the screen right now is a glitch that we like to call floor 1.5. So what is going on here? What are we doing? This is 100%. Well, let me explain. So the first step when it comes to understanding floor 1.5 is to actually get out of bounds. So what he's going to do is he's going to basically get behind a chest as it's spawning into the overworld to push himself through the wall. Now, once he's in this state, what is going to happen is the game is basically going to put him on the collision of the second floor, but it is going to load the first floor enemies, and collision and stuff like that. So it's basically loading 2 floors at the same time, which is why we call it floor 1.5. But however, here's the big issue. There's a bunch of walls and collisions on floor 2 that will hinder us from going freely out of bounds, which is where the main glitch of this game comes in, which is called a skew. So you're going to see as he walks into these kind of bats that Luigi is very heavily angled. And that is done by basically tapping the C-stick at the exact same time as it gets hit. And if you're able to do that, then he's able to walk around perfectly with an angle. And the important thing about that is that that lets you clip through walls, both to go out of bounds and to go back in of bounds when you're kind of stuck in floor 1.5. So what he did right there is he got a skew by walking into one of those bats at a very precise angle, I should mention. It's very precise. And then by taking out the camera, he's able to fall into the gym. And right there on this little treadmill machine is a small key. And that is actually going to lead us to the shortcut in between the second and the third area. So like very far into the game. Meaning that now we have just increased the basically routing for this game a lot. Because now almost every part of the mansion is already available to the player. And that is not the only out of bounds in this run, trust me. There's going to be a lot of really cool optimizations. And this is also why I think that Luigi's Mansion is such a cool speedrun. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy this run. Because Luigi's Mansion isn't just one of those games where you just glitch to the end of the game. And it's also not one of those just boring games where it's kind of just like purely casual. I mean, just look at this right here. This like 6 kills at once, right? So Luigi's Mansion is this perfect combination of using a couple of glitches to speed up the overworld and doing a couple of different cool minor skips, but still basically playing the game as intended, just very quickly, which I think is just absolutely incredible. But yeah, you can see here, he's just literally taking down these portrait ghosts. Now we're technically in Area 2, I should clarify. We are going to go back to get the Area 1 key because it is mandatory. And it's also going to set up some future glitches later because you do have to go through each one of the area transitions. But by doing them out of order, you can save a lot of time, and you're going to see that throughout. Once we're at this part now here, we have basically started where you should normally do Area 2, and he's going to activate the switch, which is going to open up this section of this room, which is where you release the boost, which is probably about half an hour in if you've ever played this game casually. And this is where the game basically opens up. So until this moment in time, all you have in each room is just portrait ghosts or ghosts, and that's it. But once you have released the boost, one boo will be placed in basically every single main room, a total of 50 of them. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to get all 50 for the 100% speedrun. So now we don't have to worry about going to rooms out of order, because now that means you can do 1 trip per room instead of having to go back to get the boo later on. After releasing the boost, we're going to talk to EGAD quickly, and then we're going to get dropped into the mansion, pick up the first area key that we skipped, get another cutscene, and now we're basically caught up with just to where we should be in the normal game without any glitches. We've just gotten a couple of extra rooms. So at this point in the game now, we're going to start trying to collect boosts, which is mandatory. So you're going to see the first cool little trick with the boost right here. So what he's going to do is he's going to find a boo, spawn it into the room, and then leave immediately, which is a little bit weird. Then he's going to go in this next room, open this up, and spawn a second boo. Why is that? Well, every time you get a boo, you get a cutscene basically teaching you about how catching boos work, or just giving you like, oh hey, this boo was called X name, cool fun fact, and it's pretty slow. But By collecting 2 boosts at the same time, it will skip 1 out of the 2 text boxes. And certain text boxes and boos in this game has longer dialogue, such as the first one, which is kind of a tutorial boo. So you want to try and optimize this as much as possible. And you're going to see more cutscene skips of the boos throughout this game as well. There are multiple ways to skip the cutscene, which includes like getting a suck up animation of like a cloth after you get a boo, or maybe going through an animation of a transition. Just a couple of different things like that. You're going to see plenty of that throughout the run. And right here, we're going to do the exact same thing. Spawn a boo, manipulate it to go down into this room, and then get both at the same time. And after this, we're now going to have officially 5 boos, which is enough to progress further in the game. Because once you have 5 boos, you're now ready to go down here and pick up your first element. In Luigis Mansion, there's basically 3 different elements, which is fire, water, and ice. And they are all necessary to beat the game, because there are certain elemental boos. So we're going to go into this main room. We're going to do a little bit of swag strats. And then basically start collecting these boos as we're in here. Absolutely beautifully clean doubles here also. I should also clarify, by the way, when you walk, the flashlight is supposed to follow where Luigi is looking at. But the TAS is perfectly tapping the C-stick to keep it in place and basically fight the standard control scheme. And right here, we're going to do a nice little cutscene skip. Another one. We're going to get a boo, pick up the fire element as you get the save prompt, which lets you save and quit to skip the cutscene of the fire element while still obtaining it. Then we can just keep going throughout the mansion. That is so clean. Okay. So right there, what you're supposed to do, and if you ever watch like a human do this, is you will have to slowly walk over and lit these candles by walking to each corner of the room. But what he did right there is he just walked in, shot fireballs to hit the faraway ones without seeing it, to just instantly light all of them, which is just, wow, that is incredible. Wow, okay. So yeah, get that, and then he's going to go into the corridor. He's going to lit the fire torch on the butler, which is going to activate his event, which will lead him on a cycle where he becomes vulnerable. And then we're going to go over here on the left. There isn't much to explain here up on the left. We're going to pick up a first Mario item here. You can see a Mario hat just dropped here. But yeah, we're basically just going to get these ghosts. We're going to pick up the hat, finish off the butler, get a couple of boos, and then kind of just move on throughout these rooms. There's not much to say. And here, you're just going to see some cool optimizations. And here's another micro cutscene skip. He collects the boo as he is in the animation of transitioning rooms. And that lets him... So fast. That lets him skip it. So, here's another very important mechanic I haven't explained yet, that you're going to see everywhere, that I think is fundamental to explain. You're probably noticing, and if you play this game, you will know, that when you spawn a ghost... Luigi gets scared. He goes, ah, for a second, which is slow. So you're going to notice that every time he bonks this, he's quickly going to, for 1 frame, flash the camera. Because Luigi cannot get scared when he's in the camera animation. So the TAS will super quickly tap the camera on the frame the ghost spawns to interrupt that animation so it doesn't take place. So that's how he's able to so quickly just continuously spawn these many ghosts without ever losing any time. Here, once he walks into this corridor, we're going to go back into glitch territory. So now, after leaving the butler room and everything like that, we are supposed to go over to the melody room, where we're going to get a tune of Super Mario Bros. 3, and then do that portrait ghost. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to walk into one of these little mice that's running across the floor and get a skew. He is then going to go against this door and clip through it. Now, that door is the door... that you get a key for at the end of Area 2 when you're about to enter Area 3. He's going to clip through to enter this area early, get another skew after getting the letter, and then clipping into the melody room. So that just saves a lot of kind of backtracking and having to open the door, because opening that door is a really slow animation normally. So instead of having to sit through like a 10-15 second animation of opening up an area door, he just clips through, gets... the letter, which is mandatory, one of the 4 Mario items, clips back in, and now we're good to go. Here, we're going to play the melody, and then burn all the letters, or the notes, I should say, and then get on with the portrait ghost. And look at this dupe here, by the way. Bam. Beautiful. It's so clean. As a speedrunner of Luigi's Mansion myself, that just looks so perfect. Right here, we're coming into the last portion of Area 2 before you're supposed to go to the boss. So what he's going to do is he's going to activate this portrait ghost, and then he's actually going to leave. Because if you're only one room away, everything is still spawned in. You have to go at least 2 rooms away to despawn ghosts or a portrait ghost in a room. So by going 1 room away, he's still actually playing in the background. You can even hear. If you pay close attention to the audio right now, you can hear that boom, boom, that kind of fire effect. That's him being really pissed off and mad in the other room. So basically, you have to normally wait a really long time for him to do a full-out like attack set before you're able to start sucking him up, because that's when he becomes vulnerable. But by doing everything else in that second room, you can just walk in and he's just vulnerable immediately as you walk in. You can immediately start, which is just super fast. Right here, small cutscene skip by sucking up that cloth as he gets the boo. Picks up all the money. He also got the water element in the other room. And then we're gonna leave. Yeah. A little bit strange, huh? So you're supposed here to go to Bogmire, the second area boss in the game, to basically progress into Area 3, but we're not going to do that at all. So we're just going to immediately head through the shortcut we unlocked earlier and do the first portrait ghost for Area 3. And there's a very good reason for this later, which you're going to see. So we're going to get the enemy. Perfectly done. Clean duplication on the pearls. Get the boo. And you can also see, by the way, how optimal and clean it is with all of these boos here. Like, he's not wasting any time and always getting a perfect 1 cycle here. Right here, he shoots a ball of water through the floor, which splashes up onto this door, which was lit on fire. And by doing it while walking instead of when he already gets up here, he doesn't have to wait for the animation of it cooling off. Then he's going to drop down, get that ghost, or that mine right there, and he's going to get the red gem at the exact same time as the chest spawns, meaning he skips the animation, and he wastes no time, because the time for that pearl is about the same as it would have been for waiting for the chest either way. So it's basically like a time-free gem, which for a TAS is very important. And now we're going to get the third and final element in the game. We're going to get the ice element. And then we're going to leave. We're not going to get the ghost, or the boo, I should say. A little bit strange, huh? We'll get back to it. Right here, we're going to get another portrait ghost. Pretty straightforward, nothing to explain. Also, we're not going to pick up the small key that spawns right there, which you're supposed to get to be able to access some rooms in this game, which is something to note of. And right there, by the way, I gotta say, that is the fastest grandma kill ever. So if you don't know how this game works, these 3 yarn balls drop in random directions. One goes down left, one goes up right, and one goes down right, and then you just go away from you as quickly as possible. But by just pumping the vacuum for a TAS, he gets all 3 in like 0.1 seconds. Look at this. Like, he doesn't even have time to play the sound effect of the second and third ball. It just does 1. It just like, bam. And right there, buddy, we can see that glow. That's because he duplicated those pearls at the same time as he got the key. Now, why didn't he pick up those small keys that we just passed? We need them to progress. Well, once again, we got glitches. We don't need to actually pick up keys if we can use glitches to clip into rooms. So we're going to go into this room. Get some clean doubles. Nothing really to explain here. It's pretty straightforward right here. Right here is the moonshot and being able to get this star, which is the third Mario item in the game. It's basically just pick up the star as it falls and then shoot it on the moon. You can see that he did it very optimally by doing it as high up as possible. And while waiting for the moon to explode, he also duplicated a gold bar there for an extra 100,000. But there's not that much a TAS can do. This is just kind of like a scripted event, if that makes sense. So just got to go through it. He is, however, to not waste time to walk forward as much, going to try and have the star follow him with a vacuum as he's running backwards, just to save a little bit of time. And then here, we're going to get a skew. And then, bam. And that is why we didn't pick up the key earlier. So what he did right there is he didn't just clip through the floor. He clipped through the wall, down, and then forward. So he went down a floor and forward a room into the billiard room. And then he can super quickly, with perfect manipulation of these balls, because these balls do bounce, like, just everywhere, get all three super quickly, and then get the guy just like that. And then he sets himself up perfectly for a dupe with these pearls. Gets the boo. And that chest, by the way, I don't know if you saw it, but that's a green chest, so that just has money, and it's faster to just duplicate than, like, picking up every single chest, so we're not going to do that. Just beautiful, clean doubles. I want to see here. Actually, I don't even know. How does he do this triple? I haven't seen this part. Yep. Okay. I feel like we're playing a different game, but either way. Right here, he's going to do another cutscene skip. So this is another Mario item. So he's going to walk into the Mario item as he got the boo, which lets him save and quit while the item is in his hand, which still counts as him getting the item. But, and you can even see he just gets the text box here for getting it. But he doesn't have to do the actual, like, animation and cutscene of, hey, you received the Mario item, which just saves a little bit of time. Right here, he's going to get a full refill of the fire element and get the boo at the same time. And then here, he's going to go up to the twins. Now, this is the last Mario item that we're going to get, which is going to give us all the Mario items throughout the game, which means that we can go to the fortune teller after this. So this is also actually RNG and does require manipulation. So in this room, there's like 5 or 6 different boxes right here. And 2 of them has the twins, and then the other ones are fake. So by manipulating the game, he can guarantee that the top 2 ones have the twins, so he doesn't lose any time. And then while waiting for them to spawn, he's going to get that portrait ghost. And he's going to get both of them at the same time, which I can tell you as an RTA runner, you never want to do, because not only is it really difficult to have it, if it happens, you're actually mad, because these portrait ghosts love to go in different directions. They are very fast at moving around. Also, beautiful little cutscene skip right there, getting the cloth. But yeah, they love to go around, so it usually always results in a failed 1 cycle, so you have to do a 2 cycle on both of them if it happens. So, not something you want to go for, but obviously a TAS. You can do whatever you want. Beautiful right there. Gets the cloth the exact same time it gets the boo for another nice little cutscene skip. And here for this one, I think we're like, there's really nothing to explain here. For the fortune teller, we're basically going to get 2 minutes straight of text. So just mash A and B the entire time. Like, that's it. There's just text box, and text box. But once you have returned all 5 Mario items, she will basically say, I've done my part, I'm ready to go back into being a painting, and she actually lets herself. Out of every other portrait ghost in this game, she's the only one that actually wants to be turned back into a painting. She says, my work is done here, I'm ready. And then, yeah, just shows herself as vulnerable. You can't basically fail at it all, and you can just complete it. Then after getting this ghost now, we are at 20 out of 50 boos, and we're heading upstairs. And now here, we're going to go and get the ice element and just leave. Still not going to get the boo. We're just going to wait. And we're going to head up to the top floor. This is the highest floor on the mansion. And this is where basically the area boss for the third one takes place, and where the majority of Area 4 takes place. Area 4 basically takes place on the highest floor of the mansion and in the basement. So, going to activate the ghosts by sucking on those 3 animal heads right there. We're going to scan that cheese. That cheese is actually a secret golden mouse that spawns, which lets you just get a quick gold bar. And then we're going to push the banana guys around to line them up to get a triple. I can't even explain to you how far of a push that was and how ridiculous it was. And he even froze one of them to delay it so that he wouldn't get trolled. Then he's going to leave and enter this corridor. And the criteria for entering, by the way, the third area boss is that you need to have at least 20 boos, which is perfectly cycled. You can see he has exactly 20 boos right here. So by having 20 boos and by having the key, you can get access to this boss. And here is Bolossus, which I think for most casuals is probably one of the hardest bosses. Bolossus and Bogmire are definitely the hardest bosses for most people. Thankfully, there's some fast strats the speedrunners can do to basically break it down. Once this fight starts, we're going to run over towards one of these unicorns and have Bolossus basically get popped, which happens by hitting the spike. Then we're going to do a specific kind of movement here to line up as many of the boosts as possible so that you can instantly get all of them. If you play this boss, it should not be that easy. They try and hide it from you. They try and run around. It should not be that easy in any regard. But by perfectly manipulating the boost to be in one area, by shooting 2 ice balls, you can get every one of them. And it just ends the boss like that. And now we officially have completed a different area. Now this is actually area 2. We did just complete the area 3 boss, but this was area 2, which is important to note because we still haven't actually defeated Bogmire. So that was the second area that we have completed. We're just doing it out of order. Oh yeah, this is definitely me playing. I'm just a god gamer. Either way, once you've done that, we're going to head over here. And still gonna skip Bogmire, by the way. Still not gonna get him. Don't worry about it. You can also see, by the way, that we have 35 out of 50 boosts right here. To clarify, that is not because I skipped a huge chunk of the VOD for YouTube. You get the actual 15 boosts from Colossus added to your account. So that is intended. And right here, he finally gets the boo. Because he has to go and get the ice element anyways, it's just faster to do it at that moment in time. And then this door is what activates the events for the, basically like the lightning strike. This is what activates the first elements in area 4. This is the basically last area right now. We're technically in according to the game. So we still haven't completed Bogmire, but yeah, this is all intended. This is going to start a lot of ghosts from spawning in every single room. So the spawn rate is up and every room is now dark. So now we have to go to basically pick up a key so we can go down to the breaker room so we can turn the lights back on. But if you've ever watched an RTA run or even done yourself, you probably know that we like to warp. We like to warp down and then go the intended path. So where are we going? Well, it's actually faster to get a skew from this mouse and then clip through the wall to go to him. It's just like a few seconds faster to do an out of bounds clip into this room than it would be to warp through the mirror. So it's just like a teeny tiny bit animation. And perfect pearl dupes as well right there. Right here, by the way, he's doing a manipulation to basically like drag the boo to the right to be able to do a 1 cycle, because you can 1 cycle boost, but once they have over 150 HP, it becomes a problem because there's a failsafe in the game where after you have basically interrupted the animation of the boo, which is how they're able to get the boo stuck in place enough times, it will just mandatory go to another room. It's just like hard-coded that way. But by basically slowly walking to the right, he's kind of forcing the AI to move to the right. So once it finally decides, okay, I've had enough, I'm going into another room, there's such a long travel distance from the right side of that room to the wall where he would escape that he can just get it in 1 cycle either way. And right now, by the way, you can see something exciting. We are finally going to Bogmire. It is happening. That's right. We are finally going to the Area 2 boss, which now I guess will become technically the 3rd area boss, or the 4th one. We're losing track. Also, if for a human, you would go here every area to water this plant right here, because by watering this plant in 3 different areas, it will grow into a big plant and give you a ginormous gold diamond, which is worth 20 million. But since the task can perfectly duplicate every single pearl, no problem, it's just faster to continuously duplicate pearls instead of going through that work as a human. And then look at this, by the way. He purposely take damage to get invulnerability frames, to push that skeleton in between the 2 other skeletons to get a triple. Incredibly fast. Now, for this Bogmire fight, which is the 3rd fight we're doing, because we've done, remember, we've done Chauncey and we've done Colossus. We've just done this out of order. This is theoretically speaking the 3rd boss fight that we've done, which is the last one in the game before you do King Boo, right? So this should technically be the boss fight to enter Area 4, the last area. Why am I mentioning this while we're fighting Bogmire right now? Well, that's because currently, here's the reason why we've done all of this out of order. Once we beat Bogmire, we get teleported up here. Because the game looks at how much progression we've done in the game and looks at the area we're in. So when we complete Bogmire, it goes, oh, we must obviously be in area 3 or 4 because he's already done Colossus and Chauncey. So it basically rung warps us to the top floor, which is why we've been waiting this whole time to do Bogmire. Because that saves like almost a minute of running through the mansion in terms of movement. And right here, by the way, look at this. A triple. I can't even explain to you how crazy that is, because that's not a normal ghost. That's a portrait ghost with 100 HP each. And if you thought that triple was crazy, why not get 6 Shy Guys in one go as well? Why not? Right there, by the way, he wanted to move all the way over before getting those last 2 ghosts, because by doing that, he was able to start the animation of climbing the ladder, which is like a slow starting animation, while the cutscene of the chest spawning started. So it saved a little bit of time as well. And now we're going to start collecting the 300 HP boost in a little bit of a special way. Yeah. So not only are we getting a lot of HP on these boosts, we're manipulating them to go left and right to be able to suck on them for longer, to not like use up as many times you're like resetting it. But also we're doing it on 2 boosts at the same time. Not only that, we get a cloth after the 2 boosts enter the vacuum to do a push animation to skip the text box of collecting a boo. So not only did we get a cutscene skip from getting 2 boosts at once, we then did another cutscene skip of the second boo by getting the cloth. And by the way, just a casual while I was saying that, 6 ghosts in 1 right there. Why not? Right here, we're going to collect a bunch of money. By the way, this is on an auto-scroller timing. So you basically freeze one time and you have to wait a certain amount of time. This is always set. So we're just going to collect as much stuff as possible here while waiting. Just playing around for fun, why not? And another double, and cutscene skip because he gets the cloth of the mirror at the same time as he gets the second boo. It is just never ending. It is just, the strats are just insane. Like, I really hope if you watch this task right now, you've played Luigi's Mansion 1. If you haven't, you should. But if you have, you know how terrible these boos are to try and get, even in 2 cycles when they're 300 HP. And you also probably noticed that we activated that boo and then left the room. And that is so that the boo will basically move out of that room into another one, to setting up future doubles. And here you can see a perfect demonstration, because this is the slowest boo in the game, of how we're able to do it. He does a interruption by basically tapping the R button right there, and then it's manipulated so that every time he does it, the boo goes, oh, I want to go to the bottom room. Actually, I want to go to the right room. I want to go to the bottom room. Because every time you cancel and restart the animation of basically trying to suck up a boo, it does that kind of RNG roll every time. And then he also saved a tiny bit of time by getting the boo at the same time as he was like rotating that little thing right there to turn off the water. And then we're going to enter this room right here. Now, there are actually only about 3 or 4 rooms in this entire game that are completely optional in between an any percent and a 100% run if you don't do out-of-bounds glitches. Some key observers might have noticed that we skipped something very important, by the way, for a 100% run, which was the secret treasure room on the 2nd floor, which you normally can only access by going through the chimney. Also, beautiful double right here. While getting the pearls at the same time. Either way, sorry, I just had to point that out. So some key observers will probably notice that we did not end up picking up the item at all. We didn't go there. Now, there isn't actually any main reason to go there if you have glitches. So in that bonus room, there are no boos. There's not a boo in the secret room. There's only a lot of money, which is useful for a casual person or, you know, if you're human, but as a task, not really needed. And there is a small key which gives you access to 2 additional rooms. Now, those 2 rooms does have boos, and they also have 1 portrait ghosts, which is mandatory for the speedrun. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that, since once again, TAS knows how to do glitches. Before we worry about any of that, we're gonna enter the room for Van Gogh. And also, here's a little lore drop, if you don't know the lore about Luigis Mansion. Every single ghost you've seen throughout the mansion has been spawned in by this guy. This guy loves to paint. He's a true artist. And every time he's painting, because he's like, you know, he's almighty powerful ghost, when he paints, he actually can get these ghosts to spawn into real life. So all the portrait ghosts are actual real life people that used to live once, that have been around the mansion, used to live here. While all of these ghosts were not people that used to live here. Instead, these are actually the ones that he's been painting that has kind of just been spawning in through that way. So he's been painting a lot, let's just put it that way. Also, incredibly fast, just triples in each one of these. Right here. Quickly takes him down. Spawns the boo. Gets the pearls. And that is also the last boss, or the last kind of area key, quote unquote. It's not an actual area key. It's shaped like an area key, but it's just like a really fancy normal key. That's what opens the door to King Boo, the final boss, which is why it's like a special one. You can also see right here that it is not possible to full out one cycle this Boo because he has 300 HP, but you are still able to take him down very quickly. And we're gonna get the Boo, and then we're gonna leave. Now, here we're finally gonna get to how we're gonna access the last 2 rooms in the mansion that we don't have access to because we skipped the bonus treasure room. We're gonna go here, activate these bats, pull him down onto these stairs so that we can get below him. Clip on top of like these stairs to awfully walk down, because normally you can't walk up and down stairs when you have a skew. Go into this corner, then clip out of bounds through the wall to access it without ever opening up the door. And then perfectly manipulate the 5 ghosts to get a 5 and 1. And then do the same with the last 2. And you can also see he has prepared a cloth on the table while he was waiting for the Boo to spawn. So we can do a nice bam, insta cutscene skip for the Boo. Now we officially have 49 out of 50 Boos with 1 portrait ghost to go. Gonna activate it. And there we go. That is all portrait ghosts in the game chat. That's it. And right there, you're going to see as well, we do a little mini cutscene skip right there. We end up getting the gem, the big diamond, from getting all 50 Boos, which is a reward. It's the one out of the 2 big diamonds you can have. One is from the plant I was talking about earlier, and one is from the 50 Boos. And we pick it up at the same time as we got the Boos, so we don't have to do as long of an animation. Then we're going to use the mirror in that room to warp back. And now we have gotten everything in the game that is needed. We have gotten all 50 Boos, all portrait ghosts, and everything. We did every area boss. Everything is complete. Everything is done. And we're now ready to officially go down to the final boss area. And here's the big plot twist. All along, it wasn't Mario in that painting. It was Bowser. Or was it? Now, if you've ever fought this guy, if you were an absolute giga chat as a child when you played this boss, the best that you could ever do without any special strategies is basically a 3 cycle, because that's how much you can get on a Boo reasonably. So what you would do is you would do 1 cycle, 2 cycles, leave him at 201 HP, because if he gets below 200 HP, he does an additional kind of cycle, and then you'll be done. Then we figured out a 2 cycle strat by basically kind of doing R pumping by getting King Boo stuck. But now there is a new strat. So what we're going to do is we're going to instantly knock off the head. And then during the fight, before the bomb explodes, you're going to pick up a second bomb on the floor and shoot the head a second time. That will cause the game to play the cutscene of Bowser's head going off a second time, which delays how long King Boo is out in the arena before it goes into the head, letting you do it in one cycle, and then that's it. GG. That's Luigi's Mansion 100% TAS. Now, my time is a little bit off in the top left corner, so the final time of this task was 54 minutes and 31 seconds. Now, we're not actually done yet, because, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, one of the criteria for 100% is to make sure that you have A rank. And the ranks are based upon how much money you have, which you don't find out until the very end of the game. So, I'm gonna skip ahead to the end of the credits where you can actually see the rank. So if we skip all the way to the end of the credits, when we finally will get a rank, here we go. In total, the task got A rank with exactly, on the dot, 100 million on the dot. He didn't go a single G over. On the dot, 100 million. You cannot go more optimized with the money than that. He got it on the dot, 100 million. And that, my friends, is how a perfect speedrun of Luigi's Mansion looks like. It's over 10 minutes faster than a real human speedrunning Luigi's Mansion 100%. That being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you want to see 2 more awesome videos, you can click on the screen right now. One of them is going to be me reacting and breaking down a Super Mario Sunshine task if you want to see more GameCube stuff. And another one is just going to be a cool video that YouTube thinks you might like. So that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for awesome content, and I will see you all in the next one. Later, everybody. Bye-bye.